Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we're pleased to bring you a link to the past randomizer Crossworld Keysanity tournament match. It is losers bracket round 5 and we have Illus versus Hitsuyan1337. And I am joined today on commentary by Excalibur and Clear Mouse. And how you doing today?
We are having a wonderful night. We're about to watch some high-quality gameplay.
And I'm going to mute while I check in with our runners before we start the race.
So, what are you thinking we get tonight, Claire Mouse?
I always hope for bunny shenanigans because I enjoy the Moon for All music, or the bunny music. I also like seeing the bunny sprites on these guys. But, of course, I'm always also hoping that they get boots early so they can at least go fast. What about you?
There's nothing more sad than having the boots and having to do bunny shenanigans. Like, I could be running right now. I just hope it doesn't come down to mistakes, that it comes down to, someone doing something clever or making a gamble that pays off or something, and isn't just, forgetting where something is. I think these guys aren't likely to make those sorts of goofs, but I hate to see matches decided by mistakes, and so I'd rather see them decided by positive choices, let's just say.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. And in fact, this matchup is, being losers bracket round 5 is, it's like, on the one hand, it's like, oh man, it's Illus versus Hitsu, right? This is going to be an awesome match, but then on the other hand, they gotta, one of them has to go home after this.
Yeah, this is the last best of 1 before they get to best of 3s. So, looks like counterfeited starts, so both of them doing ye olde fake flipper to Witch's Hut.
Yeah, this is a favorite start of both Illus and Hitsu. So certainly not surprised that they're going to continue their streak here. Looks like Hitsu's got a 1 second lead on Illus at this point.
Yeah, neither one of them did the fake flipper as cleanly as you would kind of like, but given how much practice they have at it. But what's a second? It's not really anything in the grand scheme of things. It just gives us something to talk about for the first 10 seconds. Ooh, that wasn't good.
Yeah, water physics. Oh my gosh, do we have a vanilla potion shop?
Yes, that'll be convenient someday.
Oh yeah, so Illus actually looks like he got the and Hitsu both got that fake flipper. That fake flipper is actually pretty tricky to get too.
So I think there's a setup for it, because I've certainly seen these runners that are good have way less trouble with that fake flipper than the one into the whirlpool just at the Link's house. I don't know what the setup is, but certainly people that are good seem to have no trouble with it nowadays. So.
And did we also notice a vanilla useless fairy drop down too?
Yeah, well.
Sure, we're playing crossfits.
It's so vanilla. I keep forgetting to mark off doors on my map tracker. This is that, and this is that. All right.
I can't believe Link's house is where Link's house is. Man, what kind of seed is this?
I mean, if you don't want that to be true, you have to play inverted. Which
inverted
inverted cross key. It's a thing. You can play it. I don't especially recommend it, but there are some amusing things that happen. If you're ever bored. Not vanilla sank, and not a great place for it either. Sank at the castle is probably the least useful place for it to be, just because, who wants to be here? As a save and quit spot, I think we're going to see a lot of Link's house for the next little while.
Oh, Hitsu got a nice bomb drop off of the guard.
Yeah,
could be, you know, very useful actually.
I mean, both of them have found one bomb to go do the back of escape while they're here, which is a good, you know, one is many more than zero in this circumstance. You would hate to have to save and quit out of the castle and walk all the way back up here to do this later, so... Because you're not going to leave this behind forever. That being said, if you had left it behind forever, that would have been fine. Alright. Restart number 2 at Link's house. Or as Illus would like to call it today, O's house. And with no other options available to them, the runners, I mean, that's not literally true, but it's close, the runners are off to Kakariko. Actually, Hitsu is choosing to do the, at least these 2 entrances before heading left. Let's see if that works out for him. It's a connector. I would not be surprised to see Hitsuyan head back there after checking the other entrance here next to Lake Hylia.
Oh wow, we saw a sword on Lake Hylia Island. So all we need is the flippers in the mirror to get that.
And Hitsu finds his first supply of bombs, which is capacity carrying, which is the same price that Illus is paying, but 5 extra bombs in the bargain. So
Illus has some knowledge on his side though. I think it was beats down in ice for 5-6 crystals.
That's an interesting... I mean, it's not useful for a while, but the logical consequences of that are... particularly Ice Palace is locked behind a lot of stuff, so... the odds that the ferry is actually useful today are not great. So Hitsuyan did not wind up following the connector. He's decided to go all the way to Eastern instead, which is sort of the other reasonable thing to do. And there's sword number 2, so it looks like we won't be too sword constrained today.
Hitsu finding Sahasrala's culprit.
Vanilla Sahasrala? Alright. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So Illus found Eastern, which is always a nice find. Looks like he's not going to quite go in yet. He has made his decision. Seems like these days like Eastern can tend to like make or break seeds. So hopefully this is going to be the right decision, or at least the same decision that Hitsu makes.
I would expect, so even if Illus was interested in going in there, I would expect him to be interested in going in there at least after clearing out Kakariko, because you would feel real dumb if you dove Eastern and then the next entrance over had the Eastern Big Key in it. Hitsu finding the Turtle Rock Big Chest entrance and then bomb jumping over to find the Laser Eye entrance at Mini Molarm Cave, which is a clean bit of routing, I guess.
Illus finding the back of Skull Wood, so he, in theory, could have cleared this, or can clear this, I guess, with only 5 hearts though.
No fire.
He's smoky. He's only smoky. You're right. He still needs smoke.
And fire.
And fire. That's right. And a lamp. Man, all I was thinking about was the curtains.
Yeah, sword is the thing that usually runners, commentators forget about, but you're so excited about the sword that, like, whatever, everything else doesn't matter.
Oh, Illus finding the big key to Turtle Rock. So I guess when he finds that area of Turtle Rock that Hitsu just found like he just came out of, he can actually, I think, get the big chest as long as he bomb jumps over.
Which is
I certainly Whoa, we just saw, was that a hook shot on Desert Torch?
You get to see it twice. It's so surprising that Hitsu went back and looked at it again. Well, that probably is a good sign for your early boots, or at least not infinitely late boots. Hitsu checking the connectors, or at least one of the connectors from Desert while he's here. Let's see if we go somewhere else cool. Nope, stuck. But that's good information to have. That one, you don't have to go back into King's Tomb, and which is often an awkward entrance to get to. And two, that Desert doesn't lead anywhere. Both useful, even though you immediately save and quit, that's useful information to have.
And I think that entrance is technically, at least to get there so far, you need a sword to get through. I could be wrong though.
To get through Desert?
To get through that center entrance. But I guess in this case, it just goes to King's Tomb, right? So no, you don't need a weapon here.
Yeah. To actually traverse Desert, you just need to not be funny, because the only thing that's literally in the way is a pot to get to the middle. Illus, while we were chit-chatting about other things, found the graveyard ledge entrance, which is a good source of bombs early, if nothing else. And Illus finding the other easy source of restocking early. Of course, after finding a bomb shop, but, life goes on.
Alright, looks like Ganon is in the well location today, so potentially no Agatu defeat required.
There's going to be an item back there.
Maybe it'll be the boots. Wouldn't that be great? A bootless climb?
Not allowed, because we need hook shot to get to Agatu, and a hook shot is on the torch in the desert.
Yes. That's right.
So that's one place we can't go looking for the boots, which the runners are presumably going to be might be slightly thankful for in a while. And having cleared out the rest of Kakariko, Illus chooses to make the Eastern dip now, at least limiting the amount of instant regret that is possible to experience.
Alright, so Hitsu unfortunately did not get to the back of Skull Woods as Illus did, where he found the hammer, so he will not be able to get the contents of the well.
He'll be back.
They'll always be back.
It's close enough that, but he'll be back. He'll be back in pretty short order, I think, because you're not going to leave those 5 items behind, and Skullwoods is just here, so that's only going to cost him 10-15 seconds or something, and not a whole trip, a whole epic trip to somewhere or other.
These guys have picked up a lot of money so far.
Yeah. So one of the things I find interesting about cross keys is that there doesn't seem to have been convergence on the correct routing order for Kakariko yet. You would think that somebody would have timed this and figured out what the optimal Kakariko route was by now, but nope.
Well, it's finding a really nice big key to GT in Eastern there.
Is it nice? Do you want that?
Actually, now that you've mentioned it, it could be a double-edged sword, right? Because I guess if you never see it, then technically, it does block out a lot of stuff. But then, once you find GT, you don't have it, then you're not that happy.
Yeah. No, you're right in that. The paranoia about, my opponent will have found it before he gets to Ice Armos, is there. It is very much a thing. Illus very cleanly through the dark rooms in Eastern. I'd expect all the people that are still in the tournament to be able to do that. But that was especially nice. And then, of course, he goes and muffs walking into a doorway. So, win some, you lose some.
Alright, Alright, so it looks like the goodies out of Eastern was a blue mail that Hitsu just picked up, 300 rupees, and the big key to GT. I guess there was that piece of heart there too, but probably not of quite worth, for these two runners.
Yeah, we'll see if that GT key, that GT big key could very easily lock, for instance, the Eastern big key. So, there are options. Illus getting spat out at Pod. I missed exactly which connector that was, but not interested in bunny walking around Eastern Dark World just quite yet. But they're kind of... Thanks. Thank you, Liberal. There is... there's now outs to bunny shenanigans for you. That we could have Moon Pearl on Pyramid. Illus making the opposite choice to Hitsu and choosing to follow this connector immediately. We haven't found Death Mountain yet, so there's a reasonable chance that this could be something good.
Yeah, and given that he's already done a lot of Kakariko, taking this connector, later on certainly is not a bad decision.
Well, and it's right next to Link's house, right? So your opportunity cost for following it, if it goes nowhere, is not very high. And if it goes somewhere good, because it's right next to Link House, you can see them take it quite a few times. On the other hand, that's not quite useful yet. I don't know. I guess I don't have boots yet, so they can't set up Water Walk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you can really fake flip your way out of this one.
I believe the answer is that you cannot fake flip your way out of that one, but if you had boots, I think you could probably still Scourge off the door to set up Water Walk. I don't know if that works, though. It's,
There are many things that you encounter really probably just in crosskeys, and you don't actually know if. And I guess it just requires some testing.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I have seen people, even in fairly deep in tournaments, in crosskeys, get themselves into a situation they've never been in before and be like, I'm going to try to set up Fake Flipper or Water Walk or, some random bug in a situation that I never had to do it before and see if it works, right?
So we did see the Hitsu found Brothers connector in the bomb refill shop, bombed the wall open, but did not actually end up going through. I think that's just a way of hedging his best to say if there was something that was on the other side that he couldn't get back, he at least is going to make it not a one-way connector.
I mean, there is nothing more obnoxious than finding that connector again as a bunny and wanting to get back to Kakariko for some reason, or we could get back to the other side, and so just sort of as preventative maintenance, a lot of runners will bomb that wall open ahead of time. So, Illus, with Turtle Rock Big Key in hand, I expect to bomb across here. Unfortunately, quote-unquote, only gets the left-hand side. I don't know how easy it is to actually get across the big chest, but it seems like it shouldn't be that hard. I'm kind of surprised that Illus just let that check go.
And maybe he will, I guess, it's not terribly inconvenient to go back to. So maybe, the fact that he's already out here, he can just get Ice Rock Cave out. Although he doesn't have a glove, so he will isolate at least one entrance.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. I kind of expected him to go out laser entrance sort of eventually, but I'm surprised he didn't pick up the big chest item first. But it's worth noting that Illus made the opposite choice to Hitsuyan in that he went right out of Medieval Dorm Cave to Ice Rod area rather than left and across the south side of the Dark World, or the Light World. And one of those things, you're really happy when you turn up and have the right stuff. Mimic Cave with the hammer already.
Yeah, especially here, out in where Ice Rock Cave is. I mean, this is not that convenient a location to get back to.
Nope. Um, looks like Illus is going to do fake flipper checks while he's here. Fair enough. And as mentioned, Hitsu, having found the hammer in Skullwoods, is back to check the well for a grand total of not a lot.
Illus not getting fooled by the fake whirlpool.
Anytime someone uses that whirlpool, it makes them feel clever. I feel like it just it's not correct that often, but when it is, that was way faster than any foot route that Illus had to get back up here.
Yeah, and given that they don't really have any mobility items, no boots, no hookshot, no flute, right? Like, they really need to be able to use their basically in-game knowledge to kind of like route the world.
And the whirlpool network is shockingly useful in sort of low mobility situations. Finding Lumberjack at the Lost Woods drop for a small key, tempting enough to go get, but a small key to Misery Mire, slightly unfortunate.
It's at least it's a good routing key.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to have one, but
That's right. Oh, but we have a nice surprise here at the mushroom spot. We found the Kingdom of Samaria on Hitsu's side, and soon be on Illus's side.
Yeah, at this point, the runners are very close to being check for check. Illus has done Ice Rod area, and Hitsu has done the path all the way over to desert. But these guys are pretty close to having done exactly the same things. Which means we're running out of places to go.
Alright, so we see the Thieves drop down at where Lumberjack is. I'm going to assume that they're not going to beat Aga 1 for that map.
Come on.
Given that Hitsu, when he found the bomb shop, didn't even bother to talk to the guy, I'm thinking that the map is probably not going to be on his radar.
Come on. Yeah, you're right.
No, Hitsu could totally prove me wrong.
We could still get. I mean, there are outs to needing to beat Aga anyway, and at that point you might pick up that map, but those outs are pretty narrow. So. Is this Illus's first? Oh, this is Looter Crab? Interesting. So as Jinxie is pointing out in chat, thank you, our glorious trackers, that means that there are 2 items at Aga 2 to add to our upstairs GT hall, if and when we get boots, hookshot, and bow. Which is, slightly higher than expectation value, but...
Yeah, and I think on Illus's side... I guess on both their sides, they also have a small key to GT, so if they find GT, they can certainly make a little bit of headway.
At least as far as tile room. Yay, tile room.
I guess it depends on where GT is, but it's certainly... There's a key scumming potential here.
Yeah. Looks like... rather than going to Ice Rod area, Hitsuyan has chosen to go to Turtle Rock, which seems totally reasonable, especially with the cane in hand. This is actually logic.
Yeah, and just enough magic to activate a cane block there too.
And I think that gets him enough magic to get to the next source of magic in here.
Yeah, so on Hitsu's side, from the big chest of Turtle Rock, it looks like we picked up our first bottle on Hitsu's side. I think Illus looked like he pulled out. Yes, what did I miss on
a glove that Hitsu found in Crystal Roller Room. which is in logic with the cane. So that's a spicy find. Now, does it get us anything immediately? I apologize about the motorcycles going by, if you can hear them on commentary. Now we get to go pick up all the rocks and see if there's something good underneath them. But
yeah, and so when Hitsu goes over to the Ice Rock Cave area, he is going to be able to check that entrance that Illus had left behind.
yeah, and now Illus has also left behind the entrance in the M Rock, or the rock on the way to desert. And so we'll have to make 2 orphaned glove checks, potentially. Illus choosing not to traverse desert just quite yet. Choosing instead to go into the front door with the Book of Medora that he turned up somewhere or another. Ice Rod area?
No, it was in the Light World Mini Molder Cave. Light World Hype Cave, sorry.
Right.
Yes, but I think, yeah, so like Hitsu didn't have the book here, so when he was in the desert area, he could not check this.
Yeah, so both of them, Hitsu went straight across left from Mini Moldorm Cave when he got spat out there, and so managed to miss the Light World Hype Cave entrance, which is a bit unfortunate. That being said, nothing interesting. So it looks like Illus is just going to be following Hitsu into Turtle Rock. Doing this room with relatively low gear is always a bit unfortunate. But Hitsu makes it. Gets 3 bombs for his trouble.
Yeah, Hitsu was also battling the Poke right before Lava Room chest. And that with Fighter Sword only and Cane of Samaria is a really unpleasant fight.
He's got a hammer too. Not that that's tremendously better. It looks like Hitsu is going to follow connectors and now go check Ice Rod area. That's the Turtle Rock as connector is getting more use in this seed than you usually see. Have either of them actually made it over to Flute Spot 5 yet, or did they both follow the Turtle Rock connector and leave that entrance behind?
As far as I know, neither runner has visited Flute Spot 5.
It will be adorably dumb if there's something good there.
Looks like Illus is not going to miss out on anything unless he wanted to gamble some of his money away.
So with glove in hand, Illus chooses not to go as far as Chain Chomps and the Lava Chest, instead making the Flute 5 play.
Yeah, so far, even in the non-overlapping checks that that Illus and Hitsu have done on their side, doesn't really look like, I guess outside of the Book of Medora, there's not really like an item advantage that neither runner has.
Yeah, I mean they've both done a bunch of checks, which didn't find any. Which is, so now we get to spend the next 5 minutes watching them do the checks the other guy did. And not find anything. Illus, never mind. He's gonna go pick up that rock on the way to on that way to desert.
Yeah, it looks like actually we're going to get a hobo check from Hitsu. So as you might speculate on Illus's side earlier that he was going to do some fake poker checks, looks like Hitsu is going to fulfill that for you.
Yeah, Illus is too clever for me. Fake flippered into the back into the North Light World. And the M Rock holds the top of Paradox Cave, which is a nice find, both for 7 sweet chests and 2 good connectors too.
This could be progression. Not so far.
2 out of 7, not exciting.
Yeah, but you're always happy to be able to find Paradox Cave because, as you said, there are lots of items here and there are lots of connectors and interests you can take.
Yeah, I mean, we're half an hour into the seed. We haven't basically found any connectors of interest. except the only place even vaguely interesting we've gotten to is Pod, which is down near the bottom of vaguely interesting. So we found another check in Paradox Cave. So let's see if these connectors are something better. That kind of counts.
Oh, we found Ice Palace. Alright, so actually, it looks like on Hitsu's side, he met with an unfortunate crab while in the fake flipper state on his way to Sora. It's actually pretty close, so it looks like Hitsu's just going to abandon that path for now.
Which is unfortunate because Zora is the check up there that's actually in logic, unlike the hobo or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also pretty unfortunate that not only will not only they have enough money to pay off Sora, right? They can also see what was on Sora's ledge.
Looks like Hitsu is also going over to pick up M-Rock, which just goes to show you just how few things they have left to do. This is not anybody's idea of a short walk to go do one check, but it might be the shortest walk to go do one check that they currently have available.
Well, at least on his way, because Hitsu also found the book just now, he probably was thinking, I'll check this one and then make his way back to Desert to check the Vanilla Desert location.
Yeah, I guess it's a long, excruciating walk for 2 entrances. Yes. Hooray! We haven't seen this exit to Desert yet, so let's see if we get to walk the long way through Desert multiple times this seed. Maybe. Illus now needs to go visit Mr. Beamos a few times to turn back into Link.
Yeah, how do you feel about Blue Mail without the mirror here? Looks like they, before even the Moon Pearl, they have to, if they want to Death Warp a lot, Blue Mail can actually really get in the way.
So Eternal September, I'm not sure which screen you're thinking of. So Illus is putting off money shenanigans as hard as he can, which is fair enough when you're looking for the Moon Pearl, but there are in-logic funny checks that could be in their future. Ooh. And the Paradox exit that Illus didn't check was Bumper Ledge. So now we have lots of ways to Northwest Dark World.
Looks like Illus is going to give us a magic backtrack. I think I was earlier mistaken thinking that this was vanilla, but turns out, yes, someone in chat actually did correct me in that this is vanilla. This is a magic back. Oh my gosh! Speaking of funny shenanigans, I guess we will no longer see them on Illus's side.
Yeah. That was worth the flick flipper, and here's Hitsu, 30 seconds behind? So now that you have a Moon Pearl in hand, what's your highest priority here? And it looks like, and good old-fashioned Dark World access. So never mind connector nonsense. We just go into the Dark World for what looks like a South Dark World sweep. That's very.
Yeah, it's actually not terribly common across these to have a traditional Dark World access like this so early. Normally, you're taking 5 connectors through, into to find your one Dark World access location, and then bunny walking or walking around, just trying to make more progression.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't find any particularly good connectors, right? So they did find 2 connectors to Northwest Dark Worlds and 1 to Pod, but none of those connectors were anywhere sort of good. And so, often it's the case that even with conventional Dark World access, you still just don't bother because you have better ways to do it, and I just think that's not true here. Maybe someday when they find the Old Man, that'll give him a better save and quit spot. But right now,
They would need to find a way to Death Mountain first. That's not
that's like I would be fairly interested in their boots, well, in their shoes. Someday they'll have boots, maybe. In following connectors, just because something's got to go to Death Mountain. That's not quite literally true, but it's pretty close. This is a nice close race, half an hour in. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Always nice to see.
It looks like Illus found the other side of Upper Ledge. Or no, sorry. It was the Death Mountain descent with where all the mini Moldorms were. So he could eventually take that later. It looks like he's not going to follow it right now.
That's the bottom of Spectacle Rock. So that's out only.
Oh yes, you're right. I'm getting my intrinsic picks up today. I apologize. It's like not even like that late too.
Yeah, you're in the US. You have no excuses here. Which means that they could have had again bunny access to this part of the Dark World a while ago because they found Spec Rock in Kakariko, I believe. And having found Moon Pearl and gone into the Dark World, they have found a whole lot of nothing interesting in the first 10 entrances or so. Looks like Illus went straight to Pod, but Hitsuyan is going to take a detour here to go check the pyramid. Which of these plays do you like in the abstract, Clearmouse?
Yeah, honestly, like I actually like checking the pyramid. At least you get a guaranteed item here. But of course, I would really like to have a mirror if I check the pyramid.
Yeah, so there's an argument for putting off the pyramid check until you have a mirror, just so you can get the 3 extra entrances. On the other hand, when there's a sword just sitting on the pyramid, sometimes your one item is good. There's another one of our. I think that puts the nail in the coffin of having to beat Agawan.
It looks like Hitsu's gonna make his way to Catfish potentially.
Yeah, and Illus having cleared out the pod area is right behind him. There's no better time to do this. So.
Yeah, which means he's gonna pick his second sword as well. So at least so far, not a noticeable advantage on either player's side for items.
I mean, no notable advantage on the other side for basically anything.
Anything.
Right? I mean, the seed has been fairly, I don't want to say linear, but that the powder, which was the thing that unlocked Moon Pearl, was fairly deep in the sort of obvious checks to do, and then actually checking your powder is again, it was in an out of the way location. So both of them basically last location Dark World access. And it looks like Hitsuyan is going to walk out of Catfish area.
Yeah, he picked up a small key to ice from Catfish, and so he's most likely going to follow this connector here. Technically, I think it's not logic because we don't have the lamp, but I don't think Hitsu's going to care.
Oh, I mean, especially not that one. That one's Death Mountain access. So, a lot easier to tell that once he's got his sword out. So I in fact expect Illus to do this as well. Because presto changeo, now we're on Death Mountain. With 8 more entrances at our disposal. It was a guess, don't at me.
like Hitsu's going to take his time to refill 2 hearts. It's certainly not necessarily a bad decision here because there are many cabbages that would love to meet Hitsu.
Yeah, so I was wrong. Illus did not go back and go rescue the old man, which surprises me a bit. Like, he certainly... I would expect him to know that that's the old man rescue cave, just from checking it in the dark. And Hitsuyan has found some good stuff, or at least has found a good place.
He has found the flippers out of Laser Bridge. Out of logic, certainly, right now, because we don't have an invincibility item, but I'm sure that invincibility item will turn up somewhere soon.
Or a whole bunch of shields.
Or a whole bunch of shields, that's right. Hitsu also finding Meyer up here in Death Mountain. No access yet because we have boots locked, hookshot. So we once we get one, we can get the other, and then we can get into Meyer.
So Technolink, the Crossworld or the Entrance Randomizer developer community plus the users chose not to make that change to the logic because you very often can have to do Laser Bridge super early. Would sometimes have to do it super early without any stuff, and so the choice was made to let the logic diverge on that front. While I was busy explaining how Laser Bridge worked, Hitsuyan found the bow.
Yeah, he has certainly found a lot of good progression items here on Death Mountain. Looks like Illus has made the decision to explore Skull Woods for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, once he bailed on going up the mountain, walking over to CAC and doing sort of a Northwest Dark World check seems reasonable. And unfortunately, the connector that he knows about to get to Kakariko, or to Northwest Dark World, is desert, which is near actually Vanilla Desert, which is a long heck and walk. So he's using his conventional Dark World access over and over again. That's not how this is supposed to go.
Yeah, we expected connector logic here in Cross Keys. What is this traditional open mode something Dark World access?
Is this even Crossworld?
Yeah. Looks like Hitsu's gonna follow. He's finishing up what he wanted in Death Mountain. He's gonna follow the Spiral Kick connector.
So yeah, without a way to East Death Mountain or a mirror, there's nowhere better to go. Other than the other option is of course to take the Dark World connector and check the 2 entrances, but it turns out Illus shows us one of them. And the other one is Thieves Town.
Yeah, it looks like Illus does not have any keys, correct, to Thieves Town, so he will just get the first 4 and warp out. Or maybe Saving Point? I can't remember if he's finished up everything there on Dark Death Mountain.
I mean, there's only 2 entrances on Dark Death Mountain without a Dark West Death Mountain without a mirror. So,
Alright, so yeah, sorry.
I was about to say exactly what you were saying. Hitsu's finally making the Zora check, having suffered an unfortunate fake flipper death earlier.
Now he is armed with the real flippers, so...
Real flippers? That means these more Zoras? Zora? I don't know. Are way less dangerous than they used to be.
Oh well, just as Illus is leaving Thieves Town, it's Hitsu has bought the big key of Thieves Town from Zora.
So when we know that's required, so that is unfortunate. That may be unfortunate for Illus, because Zora is a long way from anything. Yeah, there's a very real chance that gets left behind for a long time. I missed how Hitsu got on top of the castle, but he's on top of the castle. And we were saying how Sanctuary at the castle drop was not great because it wasn't really close to anything. Well, Hitsuyan has shown us that the old man saving pit location is on top of the castle, which is sometimes marginally more useful, but only marginally. And the back of the old man is the Turtle Rock escape door, which is completely useless without a mirror. So we saving and quitting it at Link's house a lot.
Yeah, we seem to be missing some pretty important progression items here, right? We don't have fire source, we don't have the mirror, and we don't have like hook shots. Or boots. Very important.
Well, in this case, boots are a progression item. I mean, they're always a slightly a progression item, but they're actually a progression item in that we know that they lock the hookshot.
So it looks like Illus has found GT. I think it was at the Curiosity Shop, or the shop that no one remembers or knows about in the normal game.
It's the Curiosity Shop. That's the proper name for it, or at least the name inside the code for it. It's right now. And so now, tile room. Rich says stuff. They both dipped at Eastern. It was in Kakariko. Turtle Rock Big Key was in there, I think. Or no, GT Big Key was in there.
GT Big Key and Blue Mail.
Yeah. Eternal September. Magic Powder does a whole bunch of stuff that most of which never comes up. Powdering the bunny beams is useful basically only in this room. Oh well.
Oh, that was pretty required. At least so far. I guess we don't know if
we don't know for sure, but and one of the things to note about powdering is that fairies generated with the magic powder actually last forever, as opposed to ones that are enemy drops, which only last for one standard drop evaporation time. Which is why that powder just hangs out for the duration of tile room.
Illus throwing his empty bottle for a empty bottle. Always.
You're
thankful.
It makes me happy that that's one of the options in the code, because I feel like it's funny enough that the fact that you don't get any item is worth it. I don't believe we've seen the other side of Bumper yet, and so Illus is presumably going to note down that entrance to Bumper Cave and hope to never have to come back there. The number of Cape required Cross Keys seeds is quite low, but it's not 0.
Yeah, Illus told me some pretty good things in the Village of Outcasts area, including the Big Key to Eastern.
If only he had a mirror, he could go use that.
Exactly.
And the bow, but.
The bow right now is in Hitsu's possession, but as you said, like we need some logical access to go through that connector, to rescue the old man to get to Death Mountain.
Yeah, I didn't see any. I didn't see any other connectors on Death Mountain while Hitsu was up there to lead Illus that way, other than rescuing the old man.
Hopefully Illus is gonna be able to find a lamp sometime soonish, and that'll hopefully get him back to go up Death Mountain there.
Yeah, I'm still curious. In fact, I'm gonna write it down for our interview later. Why Illus left behind Old Man Rescue. He's gonna say, "Oh, I didn't want to leave logic," but
Illus also, I don't know, I guess how comfortable he is with bomb jumping on left side GT to get to like Stalfo's room, but so far it seems like he has tried to stick with logic a lot of the ways for the seed.
Yeah, the only... So he did the bomb jump to get to the left side of Turtle Rock, but that's not actually taking you out of logic, because you can get there just by beating up the Pokies. Just nobody wants to do that.
Right, so with 1,120 rupees, Illus has found the money to afford the digging game here.
Because this digging game isn't turning out to be very profitable. Oh, there we go. It's a lot of digs for a heart piece. But gets out of the screen before the text box, at least. So Hitsuyan is about to turn up Turtle Thieves Town.
Yeah, the T dungeon.
For which he has the big key. So we'll see if, especially given the state of his route, and he's got stuff in hand. I would expect Hitsuyan to clear the dungeon.
He will have. So he doesn't have a small key here. So unless he finds it in this dungeon, he will leave this chest behind.
Yeah, but this is kind of a crappy place to get back to. So I kind of just expect them to do that. Right, rather than some people will in that case be like, oh well, I'll come back later. I'll bribe myself into coming back later by not clearing it now. But I disagree with that sort of line of thinking.
Yeah, I'm actually intend to agree with you here. I mean, like, Thieves Town here is pretty out of the way. I mean, it's not really something that you want to come back for. If you end up isolating that one chest, well, chances are maybe your opponent also did the same thing.
Yeah. And Hitsu's already sort of hit the jackpot on a out-of-the-way check once with that, with in fact the Thieves Town big key at Zora. There's actually a fair chance that Illus doesn't find that for a long time, and so it's a fairly large advantage to clear Thieves Town and see if there's something back here, which then gives you that additional edge for a longer period of time.
Yeah, looks like with Bombos out, Illus might be making a play for Ice Palace.
That's exciting. This is a... I mean, I with Hammer and Glove and Kenneth Samaria, other than the boots, this isn't getting any better, so might as well. I'm just... Yeah, I'm just a little bit surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks like on Hitsu's side, first item that we dug up in Thieves Town so far is another bottle, this time with green potion. Would be probably nice to have right now on Illus's side, but certainly not necessary.
Illus making the executive decision to just use Bombos to deal with the Pengator room, which is a... I like to see that. I like to see when good runners get out the button that takes a long time to push, but is probably still totally time-saving there.
Yeah, it certainly depends on how Illus wants to clear this. There is a 2-bomb setup that's also pretty slick to see. I am not timed to see whether or not Bombos versus that bomb thing is faster.
The bomb setup is certainly faster if you get it right.
So many things. Speaking of getting things right, do you see how smooth that icebreaker was on Illus's side?
Yeah. And so if he can do that, why can't he do the bomb thing on the Pengators, right?
Yeah, be sure and ask him about that in the interview too.
Very big.
Yeah, that is a nice big key to have.
It's, I think, a nicer big key to have today than it usually is, because we know that the hookshot is somewhere awkward. Right, the boots do not lock that many things, since they can be somewhere super terrible. Now, the fact they lock the hook shot means that reduces slightly where they can be, but for instance, a place that's totally possible for the boots to be is upstairs in Tower of Hera.
Yeah, and given that they're not going to be able to Herapot up so far, is even more incentive for them to climb Hera the normal way.
Yeah. It turns out that Herapot is not yet in the logic. Nor, of course, are any other glitches. There is a minor glitches mode for Entrance Rando, but nobody likes it, and I don't think it's that well maintained when new glitches turn up. Rich says stuff. Bombos was in Blind's hut. Which was in the dark somewhere. Yes, Blind's hut was in the Thieves' Town entrance, in fact. A much better hiding spot than is usual.
Just switch a world over. Looks like Illus is going to take on Cold Stare. Just enough magic. Oh no, he has bombos. He doesn't.
He's got bombos. He's got heaps. On the other hand, this fight sucks. So we're going to go over here to the trap corner to check and see if there's any magic there. Apparently the answer is no. I don't know if you can buff with that bombos. That was super fast. A lot of people tend to try to line everything up perfect before they do that. But, and Hitsuyan finds GT. We'll see if he's more interested than Illus was at bomb jumping across the left-hand side. I'd be a bit surprised. I don't know. This is one of those cases where, because they know that the hooker's boot's locked, the boots can't be over there, the hookshot can't be over there. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it tips Hitsuyan's mind.
Yeah, it's certainly possible that both Illus and Hitsu was just going to hold out until they find, in this case, the hook boots and then hookshot. And then, they can access a lot more things very quickly. Alright, meanwhile, Illus taking a very, very nice Master Sword Hammer Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, that was super clean. And question number one.
He ended up picking up a small key to the swamp too, as part of his prize. So whenever they end up finding swamp, that is his entry in.
It's half the key. I don't believe they found the dam yet.
Yes, yeah, right, absolutely. Yeah, they haven't. That's right. They haven't found the dam, so they need to drain it first. Well, find the dam, drain it first, and then find Swamp Palace.
And all that to get into a green pendant dungeon. So cross your fingers and hope enough to do that.
Yes. Thank you, chat, for reminding me that Hitsu, yes, did indeed find the Swamp Palace entrance up near Hyrule Castle top.
How did Hitsu get on top of the castle?
That was where the old man is.
Oh, right. He just saved it there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that means, because the save and quit is there, in principle, here's a theory chat will hopefully like. It can be required to rescue the old man, to save and quit to there, to get to Swamp, to get the mirror. That is a thing that is in logic. It's kind of mean, but it's in the logic.
Krusty's logic is certainly very interesting, to say the least. It's very creative, right?
So if you read through the code, it's all written in Python, so it's actually pretty readable. A lot of the logical checks, you need hammer to get here, you need glove to get there. And then occasionally you get something like, oh, but you can, the save and quit point connects up the area, and there's this big long, 3-line if-then sentence. Spike Cave, I think, has the longest, you can get there with this and that and this and that or this and that. A couple of the heart containers, it turns out, are in the logical progression to make Spike Cave work. Whatever. Eternal September, the logic is, or at least the logic that the tournaments are done on is glitchless, and bomb jumps are considered a glitch. Boots bonks are not a glitch, so where those are possible, boots can get you there. You can play, there is a minor glitches mode, which, again, I'm not sure is updated, and a major glitches and a no logic mode if you want your life to be worse. I would love to see a no logic tournament. That would be funny, but you're allowed to do all of the shenanigans in no logic.
It's pretty amazing how much of the game you can finish, despite there not being any logic.
Yeah, apparently it's in the 90s of percents of no logic seeds are completable with all of the ways you can cheat.
All the ways you can play the game, right? Is that what we said?
Yeah. I said cheat, but I mean, the tournament list would be Andy and then maybe some other people.
I know that there are a couple of people Chex Humans, Sleepy, I think, also run glitch modes.
Yeah, and there's you could probably get an 8-man tournament, but you wouldn't get 100 people turning up for that one.
That I will certainly agree with you. Yes. All right. So meanwhile, back to our cross keys match between Illus and Hitsu. Hitsu is making his way through Village of Outcasts here. He did end up picking up the big key to Eastern from Blindside Out. So while he doesn't have a mirror quite yet, I can only imagine that Eastern is going to be one of his next targets
on his to-do list. Yeah, unfortunately, they have no good way to get to Kakariko, and so, it's after a save and quit, to Link's house, walk all the way back over here, like this. It might be faster to save and quit to the old man and jump off the castle, and go through the screen that you never go through. But...
yeah, all the things that you don't really think about until you have to think about in cross keys.
Until all of your save and quit points are just terrible.
Yeah.
Here's Illus for the second time this game using this whirlpool that you very, very rarely use. Wombat. It turns out that GT has a lot of things in it, and so 10% of the game, or slightly more, is in GT, and so it's unsurprising that something's in there. If there's nothing protecting those locations. Now this is some shenanigans. So Illus is one of the masters of nonsense.
Game knowledge? Yes, I'm listening.
So I think this is trying to be an Ancilla fake flipper to get back in the whirlpool. But I'm not sure. So the problem is Illus knows more glitches, knows how to do more glitches than I know exist. So,
yeah, so this is certainly some version of Ancilla. I don't know this exact setup, though.
Yeah, I don't know why you need to jump in the water. But, well, having used up all his bombs on that, we might see just walking in Illus's future.
Looks like also we're going to get some new checks on Hitsu's side. He is going to make his way to the Dark World shopping mall area. Very nice avoidance of those bird bombers.
And with flippers in hand, can take the shortcut across the thing here. All right, let's see if shopping mall lives up to its name today. We have an amusement parlor. Better than a shop.
All right, so far 2 out of 3 don't exactly look that great.
And a dark cave.
I guess technically we can't really tell what that thing looks like.
So Hitsu almost certainly identified it there super fast. I was not able to. My Dark World decoding skills from the commentary booth was not able to tell you which dark room it was, but I'm completely sure that Hitsu knows. In 3 seconds.
Alright, looks like Illus is going to get his in-logic purchase from Zora to get his Thieves' Town big key. I'm sure he'll be very thrilled to see that.
Yeah, and then a long heck and walk to get back to Thieves' Town too.
Yeah, I mean, considering how long he, took to walk all the way over here, I assume he tried to, fake flipper or Ancilla, to take the whirlpool to get to Zora faster. But, of course, it's taking the long way here, and then he'll probably take the long way out to Thieves' Town as well.
Yeah. Oh, and Hitsuyan also making the choice to go to Ice Palace. So when we first got news that the bomb shop was locked behind Thieves' Town and Ice Palace, I did not expect Thieves' Town and Ice Palace to be the first 2 dungeons completed this season.
That's gonna make you wonder what is at the Purifairy location then, if that's the case.
I mean, we kind of got thrown all the stuff we need to beat these 2 dungeons pretty early in the logic, right? In sort of early spheres. So there's a non-trivial chance that something important is at the pyramid, right? Like if you're playing the Read the Seed game, I think that there's, it would be a fair reading to go get that bomb basically immediately. If you're Hitsuyan, if you're either of these guys and you finish these 2 dungeons. With Cane of Samaria, big key is not required, I believe. I don't remember exactly how Ice Palace logic works.
Yeah, I'm not also familiar with this version of Ice Palace logic.
Yeah, because you can throw yourself down the pit and skip the door, and then just cane the switch. I think. But yeah, certainly it's in logic enough that I would be interested in going and getting that bomb. I feel like I should have the code open when I'm doing these commentary runs, so when nonsense like this happens, I can just go look it up. So apparently, big key is always required to beat Cold Stare. Surprises me. Been so long since I've seen someone do Ice Palace without using a glitch that didn't occur to me.
Yeah, sometimes we just even forget that Ice Palace, needs a big key because we just saw Icebreaker and people do Ice Palace bomb jump. So
yeah, like
those are the intended ways of completing Ice Palace, right?
Yeah, like when's the last time we saw someone do Ice Palace in logic? Like 3 years.
No,
like
I was definitely thinking. All right, Illus, I'm sure, is back in Thieves' Town, all happy, and all very happy and excited to go be blind now. That's gonna make me wonder where this lamp is.
No Eternal September, but I think the dissertation on exactly how the logic actually places the item is probably too long for this commentary. But it's The code is available. It's open source. You can get it at GitHub on Amazing Ampharos's Git is the easiest place to get it. So. And if you have any questions, send me a message on either Discord or on Twitch, and I will try to answer them when I'm not busy.
So, as Hitsu is going to go fight Cold Stare, he has a little bit more safety in terms of health against Cold Stare, but in terms of output damage, looks like it's going to be the same.
Yeah. Not. I mean, it's fine kit, but you'd really like to have a tempered sword here, or fire rod.
Or fire rod, or yeah.
Or the ice rod? Is that no? It can't be.
I believe the ice rod does not do damage to Cold Stare.
The fact that the ice rod, like, it sort of quasi-randomly deals damage to some things in this game, baffles me.
Yeah, how it does damage to some enemies and freezes other enemies. Yes, I'm not actually sure if there was any consistency there.
Yeah, and from a game design perspective, I don't know why Nintendo, like, I feel like that's super not discoverable, right? Like, to some extent, you just wind up going through your inventory as a little kid on each boss, trying to figure out what does what. And the game early on teaches you that Ice Rod doesn't kill anything, and then all of a sudden it randomly hurts land boss. Randomly trying things is how I ended up as a kid figuring out that the bug net can reflect Aga's shots. Yeah. And that like feels, I guess, a little bit logically consistent, but
It looks like after completing what he could in Peacetown, Illus is going to take on Blind here, following the script very well.
And I believe that Hitsuyan is already on his way to the bomb shop, where I expect Illus to be heading as soon as he's done beating Blind. And so, on the basis that bomb shop is the most exciting thing to do in the world, apparently Hitsuyan is slightly ahead. Hitsu's over here to check this entrance, which is nothing good.
Yeah, it's just a fairy fountain.
That puts Illus back in bomb shop percent lead.
Looks like he is headed to Kakariko from the south, which is more of an indication for the bomb shop.
And by heads to Kakariko from the south, you mean the way that they can get there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chat bring up, Please do bring up a good point in that looks like with Hitsu having his bow out, he is going to make a visit to Eastern Palace. Unfortunately, Illus did not sequence break out the bow, which was locked after, in Death Mountain after rescuing the old man in the dark. So he will not be able to complete this dungeon, but he will have access to the big key. The big chest.
This is a long walk for one chest.
Yeah, that is. But I guess if that's the only thing you have in logic, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you only have one thing to do, I guess that's what you have to do.
I mean, it's probably right at that point. Like with high probability, the only thing left you have to do is good. What you really don't want to see is for the only thing you have left to do to be bad, because that means you made a mistake somewhere.
Only in Cross Keys can you lost the location multiple times in your run.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Oh game.
So what does that put in logic in Illus's mind? Are flips and bow both out of logic? I think so.
Flippers for sure is out of logic because they don't have invincibility.
Oh.
Found it in Laser Bridge.
But there was a connector to the island from somewhere. I don't remember if that was in logic either.
That one, his got there from Death Mountain.
Right, so that's not in logic either. Right, so Illus can't get to the Lake Hylia Island. If he could get there via the connector, Ak, I'm sure you're new. Why aren't you in this tournament? Did you lose? I haven't seen you all this whole time. Sorry, Ak. That was mean.
Alright, looks like Hitsu is going to fight Armos here. Looking like he's setting up for the quick kill. This is surprisingly not an easy fight, but I'm sure Hitsu will be just fine.
This is the thing that, plus the Smith chain, that comes into logic with the mitts, I think, in Illus's mind. So... for nothing. Now we go and get ourselves a blacksmith? Question mark.
Have we found the smith?
I didn't think so, but Illus just picked the guy up, so, and it's immediately save and quit. So yes. Oh, it's apparently in Kakariko.
Oh, well then that seems even easier.
It's one of the entrances they checked fast enough that I didn't get it on my map. Oh. Alright, if you're walking this way, you should have started at Sanctuary. I guess? Maybe? Maybe it's still faster to start at Link's house. Going through the screen you never go through. Just once again demonstrating how bad our save and quit locations are.
Yeah, in terms of mobility, we are 75 minutes in, and we have no hookshot, no flute, no mirror, no boots.
Saving and quitting is absolutely in logic.
Oh my gosh, Illus! What a great choice. We can go fast.
Yay! Yay! And now we immediately go and get ourselves a hookshot. Oh boy.
Alright, looks like Hitsu is going to follow suit here, so hopefully, assuming he does go pick up the smith, he will also be able to move faster.
Yeah. Hitsu has a few more things that he can do, but assuming he's paying attention, knows that those Titan's mitts don't unlock very many things in logic. And so, and yeah. So I think that this is totally reasonable for Hitsuyan to be doing, even though he could, for instance, go and check Ice Palace or whatever.
The 5-6 pyramid location.
Oh yeah, the 5-6, yes. Yeah, they both put that off, at least a little bit.
Alright, so Illus, remembering that the hookshot is on Desert Forest, makes I believe, it was almost a beeline there. So I think with Boots and Hookshot, they have access now to a lot of stuff in Mire.
Stuff in Mire, a bunch of Bonk Rocks, East Death Mountain. Sorry, not East Death Mountain, because we don't have access to Death Mountain in logic somehow. And most importantly, Left Side GT.
Yes, I totally forgot about Left Side GT. Which is exactly where Illus is headed. Looks like Hitsu is going to make a small detour to Skull Woods before turning in that blacksmith.
I don't believe that Hitsu's been to Skullwoods yet, and Smiths will happily go on a world tour in Infants Rendo, so...
Yes, you are correct. This is Hitsu's first time. Illus ended up, they had some pretty early route divergence, and Illus decided to visit Skullwoods early.
Yeah. Illus's insistence on staying more or less in logic has led to most of that route divergence, I think.
Picked up the mushroom. We know exactly where to turn that in.
Jinxie, Illus has made at least 2 trips to Skullwoods, so I thought he'd done it all by now, but I might have lost track. Hitsuyan missing out on the sweet going through the screen that nobody ever goes through tech to get to the Smith home slightly faster. I don't actually know how much time it saved, but Illus got to feel clever, at the very least.
You got to show us more game than we normally see.
Yeah, there's not even an entrance on that screen to make entrance rando players go there. Like, there's just nothing there.
There's some guards and some, trees that kind of get in the way of that, that you want to dash through. We have picked up, it looks like 2 small pod keys in GT so far.
That'll be useful someday when we find pod. For an hour and 20 minutes in, we both need a fair amount of stuff, though Hitsuyan has some of it due to breaking logic earlier. And a surprising number of entrances.
Illus making a very good call to visit Left Side GT, finding the mirror and the flute.
Yep. I mean, they had to be somewhere.
You are correct. They did have to be somewhere.
And I say that just sort of to point out that they've been close to running out of places to go for a while, a couple of times.
Speaking of vanilla items, we find the red mail in its vanilla location.
And having just found the mirror, now that you won't even be mad about that. Lots of runners. There's a couple of other places where it matters, but don't like finding the red mail until they found the mirror, because death warping with red mail is just obnoxious.
Alright, looks like Hitsu's gonna follow suit here. He'll pick up his goodies on Left Side GT. One advantage that Hitsu will have, though, assuming he comes all the way to Ice Armos, is that he will have the bow for this fight. Illus does have sword beams, which will make his life a little bit easier, but certainly it's not going to be as fast as using the bow.
Oh no!
Yeah, it looks like Hitsu did not, I hope he didn't forget about Hookshot on Desert Torch, but he does not have the Hookshot before coming into GT.
I feel like it's worth your time to go get the Hookshot, but so I hope that this is a decision that makes me go rather than forgetting about the Hookshot, but.
Yeah, and if he was gonna bomb jump the stuff over, I guess I was kind of surprised he wouldn't want to do it the first time that he was here.
Yeah. I mean, it does save you some jumps getting to bonk across these gaps, but...
So looks like Illus is gonna save that. Oh, because he has still no bow. So he probably doesn't want to or can't mimic club to do upper GT.
I mean, with the dedication that Illus has shown to staying in logic, which is like truly greater than anyone I've ever seen in cross keys, I am like, he wasn't willing to go rescue the old man in the dark. Mimic clubbing to get upstairs at GT seems.
Yeah, plus he, as he picked up the mirror and the flute, he has a lot more mobility and options now to go visit. that are
Yeah. So Illus, at an hour and 22 minutes and change, can now go to Death Mountain for the first time. For instance, you know, he
So
hasn't.
this would be our, so this would be our in-logic axis then.
Yeah. He hasn't made any trips to Light World, Death Mountain, East or West yet in the entire game. So,
Purple chest yielding us a big key to Swamp Palace, which is our dream pendant.
yeah, it's a shame. We'll see. So, as dedicated as Illus has been to not going out of logic. For one thing, he's going to do laser skips, and for another thing, I expect him to rescue the old man once he finds the top exit to the old man rescue cave. Ah, jeez. People that know cross-keys logic or Keysanity logic better than I do, pointing out that we need all 4 GT smalls to get the mirror and the flute. Where the heck those are, I don't know.
Yeah, we've certainly seen a lot of the world here, and we have found 2 GT smalls, I think.
I mean, Illus only has 1, so. Sure.
Right, so we had G2. I think we had 2 GTTs by the time we got into GT. He used one in the firebar room.
Huh. That was a very abortive trip to Misery Mire. I assume that's a put this off until we finish the mountain loop. But oh, no fire source is a good point.
Yeah, and certainly, he has a lot of the mountain to explore, so it's certainly possible that there's going to be some more, like maybe he'll find, a fire source in this case, before he ends up, completing Mire.
So, Hitsuyan demonstrating that sometimes you can run out of arrows, and then your bow doesn't work anymore. Which is a touch unfortunate.
That, actually, yeah, the fact that he has no more arrows would certainly discourage him from going and climbing GT.
Yeah, it turns out killing mimics also requires arrows.
Yeah. I mean, so we do know that the GT climb isn't logic, right? Because, we found a logic... Well, I guess, at least we can get to Death Mountain with the flute.
Yes, but the flute is behind 4 GT bigs, or GT smalls.
More keys.
So,
Alright, Illus picks up his, sort of, in logic bow.
So, having put the left side of GT in logic by having access to the hookshot, and then going and doing it without the hookshot, Hitsuyan is like, maybe I should go get that. I feel like just going and getting it first was probably correct, but yeah. I feel like GT cross keys seeds often wind up sorta in logic. Hey, there's fire.
Hey, we found a lamp. And a small key to Thief's Town, which I'm sure both runners will be happy to see once they get that. Illus letting us know that the big key on Spectacle Rock was the big key to Desert. And I think now with Flippers and the mirror, they can get that Tempered Sword off of the island.
Yeah, which the next time they're sort of in the general area for other unrelated reasons, I expect them to do that. I don't think that Tempered Sword is sort of enough to pull these runners into a sort of a dedicated trip to go get it. But they're gonna have to run past there at some point to go to somewhere and probably pick up the Tempered Sword at that time. Or if they have to go into, before they go kill Viddy or something.
Certainly they'll probably go pick it up, before any major boss fight that they'll want it for. But given they've already fought Coldstare on Master Sword, I'm not, so Viddy could be a certainly good boss to have temper for.
Yeah, I mean, Vitrius, Ganon. It probably it's worth spending the time to go get it at some point, right? Just because it'll save you enough time on the late game bosses, assuming that the third sword, or the fourth sword, doesn't turn up somewhere. Oh look, it's the big key to this dungeon. What a surprise!
Amazing. Alright, I think we saw that was all 4 300s on Illus' side.
I mean, he's real rich, so...
Yeah, and he already paid off Zora.
It's a good thing they did Houlihan Room first thing. They definitely did all that money this game. I'm surprised neither of them have been interested in... Or not. They've had things to do, especially with the mirror and the flute now. But, they could go get the bomb at any time. They found the bomb shop super early. It's in Kakariko, so... Hey! East Mountain. Nobody's ever been over there before.
It's really amazing what you have access or you don't have access to in Cross Keys.
Yeah. Illus does decide to go and check what the thingo is on Turtle Rock, the old-fashioned way. Let's see if he can solve this puzzle. It's not a very good puzzle, frankly, but...
Is it still a puzzle if you already know the solution? I guess it still must be, right?
I mean, I feel like it isn't a very good puzzle in the first place, because it's not very puzzling. It just goes wah at you when you get a rock.
And we did see that it was a vanilla quake that we need to get into Turtle Rock, which these runners do not have.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of entrances that that have items that we still haven't found yet. Like, have we found Hookshot Cave?
Nope.
We haven't found Sick Kid either, and both these guys have bottles.
And
we also still haven't found the dam, have we?
Nope. Nor have we found, Pod, which is another entrance that has a bunch of items in it, even if it doesn't have a crystal at the end of it. Or Swamp, which again we need the dam first for, but no Spike Cave. There's a bunch of one item chests. Clearbrass, can you please say that sentence for me?
There are a bunch of one-item chest locations. Chest items? one-item chests?
Yeah. Alright. We're both doing well. I was gonna say, it was torn between one-item location and one chest location, but, I don't know if we've seen, K45, for instance. Look, we've been saying words for an hour and a half. Give us one sentence that doesn't work. Hey, a bunch of chests have multiple items in it. Like that chest had 20 whole rupees.
At least Illus was able to find Hookshot Cave here. And I believe on Hitsu's side we saw the Cane of Burden pickup, and both runners here have the cane, have the cape. So that does put Laser Bridge in logic.
Which brings the flippers in logic.
Yep.
So now we can go to Ice Palace entrance, which I'm sure everybody's excited to do because that's an out of the way location. Hey, Hypegate. Speaking of places that are good to find.
half magic is a really nice thing to pick up.
It would be a nicer thing to pick up if they had magical weapons.
We are missing both rods, correct, yes.
Like, you can make a whole lot of Samaria blocks, but are you really excited about making a whole lot of Samaria blocks?
You know, making Samaria blocks probably won't help you against Trinex. It can help you get to Trinex, but probably won't help you defeat him.
Did Illus check the middle exit? Oh, he dropped down there. Okay, I'm just going crazy. It's so rare that you have Titan's bits for your first trip to Death Mountain in Cross Keys that I got a little bit baffled.
We do find our first visit to the Mire area, and Illus found one entrance to Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, once again, this Cross Key seed is letting us down with all of this vanilla, just go there with the open mode way solutions to getting to places.
Alright, Hitsu picked up his Temper Sword from Lake Hylia Island, and now is immediately fleeing back to Death Mountain. I can't remember if he ended up checking the Lake Hylia entrance there. I know a connector spit him out on the island itself, but there is also now the Dark World portal, like in the rock, so where Ice Palace Vanilla would be. But with all his requisite keys and a fire source and the King of Samaria, he can clear out Mire.
Yeah, it seems like a reasonable choice. Illus, on the other hand, is in Misery Mire. The mire, rather than the dungeon.
Yeah, we're hoping. Oh, wow. Okay, so Sikyan is hiding under Checkerboard Cave entrance.
This is like blitz level, sending your kids to the countryside here. Inaccessible, under a rock. Nobody's going to get to that kid.
It's quarantined pretty well. We also haven't found Hera after Hitsu picking up the small key, correct?
Nope. We haven't seen Hera or Pod. Illus still hasn't save and quit to the old man, so he also hasn't found Swamp.
So good thing that Hitsu has the lamp as his fire source, because it was pretty unfortunate that he ended up missing the full magic pickup. He picked up the pot, didn't move quite far enough to the right to pick up that magic before getting sucked into the stairway.
Video game logic. Oh no, I accidentally fell up the stairs. Super Bunny Cave generating the two most valuable items in the game, which is to say an arrow and a heart piece, never mind a heart container. But let's see if it goes somewhere good. I don't know what left is good.
Yeah, so this was the Temper Sword, as you mentioned, was probably planned by Hitsu, right before he wanted to go to Mire, because having Temper Sword and the bow is a really nice speed fight.
Yeah, it's certainly. How many seconds does the Tempered Sword save just on Vitreous versus the Master Sword, right? Like it feels like tens of seconds, right? And did it cost him tens of seconds to go get it? Probably not. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alright, looks like we have finally found our dam.
good for Illus, if and when, if or like it's not even clear that he will, but given that he hasn't found Swamp yet, nice to find the dam first. Dam in Turtle Rock main entrance. That's a bit naughty of the logic. And having not found the connector to the Turtle Rock bridge, Illus remembers to hop down and check this one more drop down while he's in the area.
Yes,
And
Illus, a better player than I am, remembers that he still has Eastern Palace now in Logic. After he got the bow.
in
Logic.
totally miserable third dip into Eastern.
I thought we were already out of Misery Mire, so is this like Misery Eastern?
I mean, it's not Eastern either. It's in Kakariko, which last time I checked is west. So, the problems with entrance rando names. This is why it took Amazing Emperors like a year to write the hint system. Like, what's a reasonable name for that thing? Oh, and Cape and Tempered makes the Adventurous fight even more saucy. Lovely.
Yeah, even got a few spins off of the big eye here. Still look like it needed 8 arrows though.
Ak is trying to be nice to the runners and come up with contrivances that make everything make the runners be in go mode. Of course, they're not really in go mode until they know that they're in go mode. So. Illus got somehow managed to duff the setup to to kill all the enemies with a sword spin. Oops.
You know, these guys have been running this lead for an hour and 40 minutes. We probably can forgive them for, you know, making Oh no, Illus.
No more forgiveness!
You're right, I'm just not gonna look at Illus's screen anymore. Whatever he finds it boss next time.
Man, after so long with having no stuff, Illus must be loving this boots, mirror, flute lifestyle.
Yeah, it's like all at once. It's like, what do you do? What do you use first?
So, Chad is busy, and by Chad I mostly mean Ak, is busy trying to come up with, you know, layouts that make things good. It's kind of surprising how few maps we've turned up so far, leading to actually, you know, 4 possible choices for our last pendant still floating out there somewhere.
Well, you know, speaking of maps, they could go kill Aga 1. Assuming they find Aga 1 and get that map after Lumberjack.
They found Aga 1. He's at
right.
my
They
Wolfhut
need some keys, right? Castle Tower keys?
Yep, I don't know any of those. So, you know, there's a ways to go to find the information that they want. And in the meantime, you gotta keep looking for stuff. Looks like Hitsu will also find the dam. Illus remembering his sword, which is
Illus also is gonna repeat his check here and go to Dark World Shopping Mall area. I mean, with everything on Illus' side, you know, because Swamp is... well, I guess once he finds Swamp, it'll be open to him, and there are 12 items in there for him to get, plus the green pendant.
Yeah, and of course it's right next to a save and quit point, but since Illus has rescued the old man, he's had all the mobility stuff, and so hasn't save and quit yet. I would expect the next time he saves and quits to check Old Man, especially because he hasn't seen either entrance to Old Man yet, you know, in his explorations, and so it could be somewhere spicy, but you know, it's next door to a spot he can save and quit to. But let's go check Lake Hylia Island first.
Yeah, I think this is an entrance that Hitsu had not checked. Because when Hitsu was over here, he just grabbed the sword and then left. And went to Meyer instead.
I mean, Illus did too, and then came back. Which is interesting. Get a mirror first. Mirror before you can flute. Illus. And here's Hut Cave, which will spit out the quake that'll get him into the Rock main entrance.
I guess, like, with Illus saving Spike Cave here for last, I'm going to assume that he's just going to save and quit out after this.
I would assume so. Yep. And I would again assume a start at the Mountain Cave. Nope, we're not interested. Oh, there we go. He menued so fast it didn't even show up on my screen. So the question is, when Illus walks into Swamp Palace, does he bail, or does he go get all that stuff?
Well, he's really going to check the other entrance here first, and let's see if he ends up going back.
I'm not sure what this other entrance can have in it that makes Swamp better anymore. I guess a map to Swamp. But he doesn't have to map to Swamp, he already has the green pendant. Like...
Yeah, I mean, this like, because we're still missing a good number of items and keys, this is pretty alluring.
So Hitsuyan finds Turtle Rock Bridge, the exterior one, at the front of Turtle Rock, which is a walk.
It looks like Hitsu's also going to make his visit to the Meyer area here.
Also choosing to leave behind oh, right. Leave behind Super Bunny Cave until later in the sequence.
Yeah, as far as I remember, there wasn't anything of note when Illus was over here, is that correct? I mean, I know we found indications, but nothing really turned up.
Nothing particularly exciting. There might have been a small key or two, you know, like useful but not memorable items. Fire Rod?
Yes, what a find in Green Pendant Swamp here.
Potentially a good find. Maybe required. Maybe just logically required. And maybe just completely, you know... No, it's definitely at least logically required.
Yeah, I mean, according to our great trackers, found out that Pod is another pendant, so the chances of at least Skull Woods being a crystal is pretty good.
I mean, at least one of Skullwoods and Turtle Rock is a crystal, and so.
That was kind of like the nice part about Quick Swap there is, him with Hitsu activated Bombos. He already Quick Swap to Quake, and I was like, that's not the Quake animation. And, as we are going through the back of Skull Woods here, Hitsu is demonstrating that you do actually not need a Fire Rod in practice to finish that room.
So Illus is now cheering for, at least weekly, for Turtle Rock to be a crystal. Does that mean that this trip is not in vain?
So we did not see either runner do right side GT, correct?
Correct. It's kind of a faff without a fire rod, and I think at the time they didn't even have a lamp. And which means it's absolutely locked, right? You need an actual thing that turns on torches. I would. Yeah, it's not clear to me how soon that will be exciting to the runners, nor upstairs.
Well, so upstairs has 5 items. Right side GT has 4 items left, I think. And then, assuming they go through all the way to Agatu, there's also Uncle behind Agatu. So that's 11. If my math is correct.
Like that. 11-ish. That was. Holy heck!
That was a very a characteristic fight out of Illus.
Wow. Sorry about the lack of clever commentary about how good that was, but holy, that was really good.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder, when a fight goes that fast, was there actually a fight, to begin with? Was there actually, an enemy there, or they just kind of, despawn and then you just get a crystal for free?
And, Illus still hasn't turned up the lamp, but with a fire rod in hand, Misery Mire is, and Misery Mire being super accessible, Misery Mire C is his choice as next thing to do.
Mire Basement is certainly probably among the hardest dark rooms to do, but, for someone as good as Illus, I don't really imagine this being too much of an issue. Especially with red mail, half magic, 16 hearts.
And a bunch of those rooms have torches too, so not all of them, I don't think.
Alright, so Hitsu taking down Lamo without the fire rod, and will use Tempered Swords. It's certainly not going to be as fast, but still finishes the fight no problem. Picks up his 5th crystal.
And not only 6th crystal.
6th crystal, yes.
Not only defeats Desert Palace, but has found Desert Palace. In a location that I'm kind of surprised Illus hasn't found. He's been to Curiosity Shop, so I'm surprised he missed Desert Palace, according to our tracker. At the Dark Chapel.
Yeah, it's certainly possible that, because both runners were already kind of spit out in King's Tomb, maybe they didn't want to go over there until they got the mirror.
That's fair. Our tracker has decided in retrospect, that Illus does know where Desert Palace back is. So, the extraordinarily timely Skull Woods map. I'm sure Illus had brief hopes on that check until the text box told him not to be excited. Hitsuyan going out the back of the old man here to get to the Turtle Rock safety door to get to East Death Mountain, which is good remembering. Illus did not bother checking old man back, but so.
Yeah, and at some point I can only assume that Illus is going to flute to 5 and turn in the green pendant for Sahashla.
I mean, I've been assuming for a long time that they were going to check the darn bomb shop. That hasn't happened either.
Yeah! Oh man, I had totally forgotten about that. Thank you for the reminder. You're right, they haven't done this yet. Speaking of which, Hitsu, I believe, has heard your calling from the commentary booth.
I mean, it's been
an hour later.
It's been on the to-do list for a long time.
Illus doing a very nice job making his way through the dark basement of Meyer there. Alright, so with the cape out in hand, I can imagine that he will have just as good a fight as Hitsu did.
That one eyeball getting a little bit away from him, but don't. They both have about the same amount of magic left, so I assume that means that they took the same amount of time, but Hitsu might not have had enough magic there. Anyway, it's still a totally acceptable fight from Illus's side, and he certainly had some time to give away after the awesome moth fight, so. Hitsuyan rescued the old man super early and knew about Swamp, has known about Swamp for a while. But here's Tower Hera.
Yeah, I mean, you know, certainly out of logic, right? They could have had access to this super early.
Yeah.
However, they did not have the boots or the hook shot, so this might be, you know, like more worth it for them to wait.
Yeah. So not only have they had the two crystals for a long time, they've also had that Hera Big Key for a long time. So this has been, you know, totally in logic for like an hour.
Alright, slash it's been for Hitsu. You know,
Hitsu really hoping that this is a crystal. And it is. So Hitsuyan, all of a sudden.
Oh my god!
All of a sudden,
this was so fast.
Whoosh!
Oh my gosh! Fire rod not required.
Hello, Mr. Ganon. Would you like to die today?
That is amazing. Oh, this is, you're right. This is I still am somewhat reeling from the shock here.
So, both runners have had access to that entrance for, like, at a time when they had very few things to do, for like an hour. So,
yeah,
Hitsuyan.
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! I was only just gonna say that, you know, like this is sometimes it's just very common for cross keys to feel like you know, are just kind of slogging through the seed and you have made no progress, and then suddenly you're just, you know, 10 minutes later you're in go mode.
I mean, go mode was Hitsuyan knew he was in go mode when that crystal fell from the ceiling, right? Like, the total amount of time spent in go mode in this seed is going to be like 90 seconds.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, once he saw the crystal drop. But if you asked me, you know, even 5 minutes ago, if I thought runners was gonna like sub 2 hour the seed, I probably would not have believed you.
Nope. Yeah, this is... I mean, he could still somehow manage to give this away. Also, his in-game timer and our timer are off by about 2 minutes, which, I don't know how that happened. Illus is going to both be surprised and disappointed to see the ... in chat here in a second. So...
I mean, really, Illus played the seed very, very well. I mean, stayed primarily in logic. You know, like, so the fact that he didn't have the bow when he entered Eastern, most likely just like the second time, and he, you know, didn't have the force the third time was a time loss. But other than that, he didn't really make any, you know, like bad decisions or anything.
Yeah, I've been suspicious about that bomb for a while, but GG's to Hitsuyan, having successfully traversed the scary 3-tile bridge. He has finished as listed in a time of 1:58.43, and is moving on to Loser's Bracket round 6, where best 2 out of 3s start, and so it takes 2 bad seeds for bad things to happen to you. Hello! Congratulations!
GG's.
Hey guys, GG's.
You didn't spend very long in Go mode in that seed, huh?
Well, I don't know. I was in Go mode, I think, long time, and I realized it, but I was not sure that I was not believing that Hera and all the easy dungeons are the last crystals. So I did some checks, and yeah, because I was still looking for Hera.
Yeah. I mean, I think you didn't know you were in Go mode until the crystal dropped from the ceiling in Hera, right? So
yeah.
Which is exciting. You guys spent ages and ages and ages looking for stuff, and then you get Flute and Mirror, left side GT, right after you get the boots for the hookshot. That was was it frustrating, sort of last locationing or being really pinched on items for a long time there?
Yeah, the mids were the problem. That the Eastern Big Key had the mids, and that unlocked like everything you need.
Yeah, it's not very often in cross keys that mitts are the critical item in the chain. Was what mitts for smiths, for boots, for hookshot, for mirror and flute. And off you go.
I did all of that. I was thinking about doing the red bomb earlier, but it was not in logic yet. But then I skipped it still for the moment.
It wasn't in logic until you got the ice big key, I guess, right? Or
Thief's small key too, huh? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or is it not needed for blind? This one, Thief's small key.
I believe it is. It is required for blind. On the other hand, you did have the 2 red crystals super early, and didn't have a tremendous number of things to do. So I was a little bit surprised that both you and Illus, who is just checking red bomb now, didn't check that pretty quickly. You felt it wasn't worth going out of logic just to make this one slightly awkward check. Hitsuyan?
Yeah.
Sorry. You felt like it wasn't worth breaking logic just to check the red bomb?
Yeah, the last seed I played in Illus was also cross keys in the ladder, and there was the same situation like in GT, and I sequence broke and there was like nothing, and I lost like 5 minutes, so this time I said no, I don't break the logic even harder now.
Well, you rescued the old man quite early without a lamp, which I would expect almost everybody to do, but Illus either didn't notice that Dark Witch's hut was the old man rescue cave, which I can't believe, or actually chose not to do it. And so he did not find any way onto Death Mountain until he got the flute.
Yeah, I was also not sure about the Dark Connector, what it is, but my plan was to go there anyway, because it has to be one of these connectors, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be somewhere good. Yeah, so Illus, you're never found a way onto the mountain for like an hour, which was a big advantage for you, I think. Kuros, do you have any good questions for our winner?
Hitsu, first of all, GG's again. You played that scene very, very well. Yeah, actually, so I guess I was curious, after you got the boots, you made a beeline to GT. Any thoughts about picking up the hookshot before then? Because I guess like when you were in GT the first time, you didn't do any of left side, and then when you were in GT the second time, you decided to bomb jump over to get Stalfo's room.
Yeah, after the boots, I was sure the hookshot is in logic now, because it was in desert all the time, and my plan was after the hookshot to go there anyway. So I did that before, because then with boots I can sequence break to the left side.
You felt like the time to go get the hookshot wouldn't be saved.
Yeah, and I forgot for a moment that the desert connector, other one, is on the top. In my head was I have to go to the desert area, to left side desert, but there was also a connector, and I saw that while I did GT, that I can go also up there.
Yeah, you could get from desert to GT pretty quickly, I think, right?
Yeah, but I forgot that there was also the connector above GT.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this seed did not have a tremendous number of good connectors in it. You guys both did a fair amount of, vanilla getting to the Dark World, vanilla mire access, that sort of thing. Do you, which I guess reduces the edge for experienced cross-keys players, right? Because good connector logic or usage is one of the places where experienced runners have an edge. I don't know if the way the question is at the end of this sentence, but it was just an observation that we made while we were doing commentary. And Illus is just finishing up his Ganon fight. We'll see if he's willing to come chit-chat in a moment.
But yeah, I did a big wrong play in my eyes after finding the desert big key. Normally I had to clear the dungeons, maybe, I don't know, because I could skip so many checks. I only had to find like Hera and gamble then for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you sort of got all of the items you would need, except for the two rods, you were still at 3 and 4 in your head to need Turtle Rock. And so
Yeah, that would be worst case scenario, if I need both rods at the end. Where was Pot? It has to be in GT or Turtle Rock.
It's not in Turtle Rock, because Turtle Rock is the dam.
Or in Skullwoods.
Yeah. Neither of you found it, so...
Skullwoods or GT I have left then.
Welcome, Illus. Well played. I apologize for Hitsuyan playing slightly better.
GG's, Illus.
GG's.
Illus, you're very quiet if you are speaking.
I'm sorry, is it better now?
Yes. Thank you.
GG. Yeah, there's this one tech which I refused to learn, which was the bomb jump to the TR big chest. And that made my early game very miserable. I wanted to come back to it, and then I decided to check that entrance, which ended up being the Aga Tower. And then I kind of got baited by the book, and I don't know, I went few multiple ways. And it was like a very miserable experience of a seed if you try to follow the logic, really, because you are absolutely forced into that dip into Eastern to get your mitts to do some other garbage, and there was not a lot of freedom, and I did not enjoy the seed. I think I could have played better. I could have taken a few more shortcuts. I could have gone early, but it happens.
You were the most dedicated to logic I think I've ever seen any runner in a race.
I couldn't do much. Like I was tempted to go through that dark room where the dark witch's hut was. I'm not sure if there was the old man or not.
It was the old man.
Damn it! Yeah, I figured Hitsu might have done that before, and I don't know. All that stuff kept happening, and I rather wanted to go to Catfish and get that over with, and then going back to that hut was a bit annoying, so I let it be, and I got punished for basically everything I did.
So Hitsuyan made exactly the choice to go to Catfish and go back and rescue the old man. Yeah. And as soon as I saw him drop down the ledge, I was like, oh, that was a good choice.
That was kind of literally the only thing that we could have done as a proper sequence break, really. And I would have done it in a heartbeat had I known that it's the old man. But you don't really know, right? So I just figured.
Yeah,
I checked the other dark room, and it was some Death Mountain Descent connector, and I was sad.
Yeah, and there was no other. I mentioned in the comments. I think you didn't get to the mountain at all until what, like an hour and 20 in.
Yeah, it was very miserable.
Sorry. Who rolled the seed? Is it Nori's fault?
You had a really nice hospital, Illus.
Had a really nice what?
Your Mothula fight was unreal good.
Yeah, sometimes Moth moves the way you want to, and then you just need 2 seconds and it's down. That was nice.
It all works itself out. No pod. There was a curious seed, right? You guys had both of you basically last locations, Moon Pearl, and that gave you conventional Dark World access. And then it took ages after you had that to get, the flute in the mirror and the mitts. It was a very strange seed.
It was definitely abnormal. Like, it was very different from a lot of seeds I've recently played. And I just wasn't quite used to it. I lost focus here and there a bit to figure out what the seed wants and how I could have moved, how Hitsu could have moved. And it was kind of hard to figure out for me.
I think the two biggest game changers were that Hitsuyan found the Old Man Rescue Cave, and he didn't find Quake, which meant that he didn't find the dam and he couldn't dip swamp. So
he finished just with Lamp.
Yes.
I thought about leaving after finding the fire rod, but I thought maybe I'm not that far behind. But I did not know at all what that dark room and the dark witch's hut was, so I just hoped it was not the old man, and Hitsu didn't do it.
Yeah, I had Pyramid and TR entrance left, and then I went Pyramid and saw, I did so many things and could finish already all the bosses.
Yeah,
because I had no knowledge.
I kind of figured as well. When I left the old man and I fought Swan Palace, I finally had my fire source, the fire rod in Swan Palace, but I missed my opportunity to go do Big Bomb, which I originally intended to do before quitting from the old man. And as I said, like this seed has punished me pretty hard for my decisions. I was a bit sad.
Yeah, both of you left behind the Big Bomb. I asked Hitsuyan about this just before you finished, Illus. When you found the bomb stop super early and it said Thieves Town and Ice Palace, I was like, nothing's going to be at the pyramid. And then the first two dungeons you both finished were Ice Palace and Thieves Town, and I was like, I should go check the bomb now. And then neither of you did it for an hour. So,
Yeah, but you don't want to check the bomb without the mirror, really.
yep. No, I understand why it happened.
For me, it was maybe okay because on the top of the castle was the old man when you go out. So I had already the mirror knowledge from there.
Oh, it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, you never.
But it was not in logic, so I skipped it because last time we played, you also skipped left GT because it was not in logic. So I was thinking, okay, Illus will not do the bumps, and I don't do it too. And then it was my last entrance for Hera and TR.
Yeah. You guys, I mean, Hitsuyan, you basically, I guess, 100%ed the seed other than the, TR into the swamp in 205, which is making good time given how awkward that seed was. I guess getting to leave behind all of Pod, all of Swamp, and most of Turtle Rock is a big time save.
Yeah, and they ended up finding, I think you guys ended up finding like the big key to Pod and all 6 small keys, right? Just not the entrance itself.
I don't remember finding, or maybe we found it.
Nope. So on our commentary tracker now is if runners have found various dungeons, and both of you have a nice unmarked pod on your tracker.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. It might have just been NGT. Who cares?
Yeah.
I hate pod anyway.
I've never heard that from you, Illus. Could you elaborate?
What's wrong with pod?
I mean, it's less bad in entrance, but in the vanilla modes, it's just very long to get to and very hard to read logically. Like, sometimes you just have to dip it without anything. Sometimes you just get the bow and get everything for it, and then there's nothing inside. And I just can't like read it properly. When to go pod and when to not go pod in some seeds. And it annoys me. It annoys me so much. And I often have made the wrong decisions in the past in regards to pod. So I hate it.
You feel like you haven't yet gotten the Zen communion with what the Reno wants you to do with pod.
No. I don't think I ever will.
Hitsuyan, your next round opponent looks like the loser of Violet Pumpkin and Schulzer, who's yet another German-speaking runner. Thoughts on your next match and how that winners bracket match is going to go?
Oh yeah, I hope I can play no one. Both are good in cross keys, so I mean, everyone who is still left is good, and Illus is probably one of the best who was left in the losers bracket.
Yeah, I felt very unfortunate to face.
It's 50-50, I would say. Like every game what's coming now, you could also flip a coin, right?
It's
Yeah, and as we started this match, on the one hand, we got to see you, Hitsu, and you, Illus, face off with each other, which is certainly, a very exciting match where no one was disappointed here. But on the other hand, no one wanted to see either of you go home.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I had a really good run, and he got a bit lucky in his first round against me, and then I teared through the losers bracket, had like 4 or 5 wins. But and I wanted to go all the way through the finals, to be honest. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, you guys both hit the losers bracket early, and just unfortunately meant that you were going to crash into each other sooner than you'd like. The 5th and the 10th seeds, both losing in the first couple of rounds, is unfortunate, but good luck to Hitsuyan going forward, and Illus, I guess better luck next year.
Yeah, maybe I can repeat my, I don't know, top 6, top 4 performance, whatever, from last year. Good luck, Hitsu, until you face Lin, then I hope you lose.
Probably.
He's 3 more rounds before he can possibly face Lin Lin, so you can cheer for him that long. All right, I'll throw it to our host, Norinato, and see if she has something good for the channel to do. Thank you both for the interview, and GG's.
GG's Hitsuyan and Illus. Thanks for a great race. I was glad we were able to do the restream. Thank you Excalibur and Clearmouse for doing commentary today, and thank you to our trackers Jinxie Girl and Blibberl for doing tracking. We do have another match coming up in just under 2 hours. Actually about 2 hours because of delay. P-Train versus Walter the Fourth. It'll be on this channel as well.
I'm going to make our runners make a prediction. Which one of those guys wins? Illus and Hitsuyan? You got a winner in Walter versus P-Train?
I'm gonna say P-Train.
Then I go with Walter.
We have Racing Council leader versus Racing Council member.
Alright.
Okay, well thanks everyone for joining us, and hopefully we will see you later or doing another match or something else ZeldaSpeedRuns is hosting. So take care, and we'll see you again. Bye.